Kevin Flynn.
Rebecca Lavoie.
Something has come to my attention, and I need to do something with you right now. What is that thing?
Do a readathon.
Hey, Kevin. So this is, in fact, a readathon. It will be a readathon representing the final trial day before a 5-day break.
Okay.
From court. We just found out at the end of today's testimony that Bev Cannoni is taking tomorrow and Friday off. And then
she's mental health break. I need a mental health day.
She's like, I need a break from Alessi and his Jenga lawyering. I need a break. And then Monday, of course, is a holiday. So we'll be back in court on Tuesday.
I just want you to know that I'm going to relax myself. And that everything's going to be fine. I just need a little time at the spa.
Oh, like you're doing like the Maureen,
hands.
Maureen on TikTok. I love her. You know, she's a psychic, right?
I'll see you at side.
That's her real job, but she's actually an internet psychic, Maureen Hancock.
Oh, okay. All right.
And she just happens to look exactly like Bev Cannoni. So listeners, there's a TikTok account. It's Maureen Hancock. She's from the Massachusetts, like the same area in Massachusetts. So she sounds and looks like she could be Bev's sister.
Yeah, they have the same haircut, so it's perfect.
Yep. They're the same age, and now she's doing these videos where she's got tiny hands, and it's very funny.
I don't know when the tiny hands are important, but it's a funny visual.
It's just a funny visual.
Yeah.
All right, so court today started in a weird way. It started late, first of all, around 9:30, and then Bev Cannoni brought the jury in and said, there's an issue that's come to my attention that I need to talk with every juror individually at sidebar with counsel about. So she said, it's going to take a while. And it did. I think it's 18 jurors, a few minutes each. It took like about an hour and a half plus. So there's a lot of speculation about what this issue is, but I think she gave us a really good clue at the end. You know, when they got brought back in at the end, she gave them a very clear instruction. You know, she asked those 3 questions. She only asked one question, which is, have you read anything in the media? So it was like, you know, she didn't ask, have you refrained from talking to people or whatever. She said, so I'm going to ask one question because I've discussed the other 2 with you at the sidebars. And then she asked the 3rd question, which was about reading anything in the media. And then she gave a very strong warning to not talk about the case and not talk about it with each other.
Right.
So I think this is what this was about. And then when they came back in, I should mention, the juror that Sue O'Connell calls the laughing juror has been sitting next to the jury box with somebody that he's been chatting with. I actually think the asshole comment may have come from the jury box. I really do. I really do. But he's been moved. So they're no longer together and he's no longer.
It's like in class, you got to split up the 2 talkers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sort of like how they had to move Paul O'Keefe because he was in bad behavior.
The seating arrangements in this court are crazy.
What do you think about this? Because we're hearing the jurors are pretty reactive.
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought, you know, with this situation, because one of the people that went to the sidebar was the chief of court. So I thought, you know, usually when this is something, it's like we're going to talk to one juror about the crazy thing that they said at the VFW in Dedham or whatever.
Which there's no proof of.
There's no proof of. Right. And this is like, so this is how like jurors individually get kicked off because of something. And it's an objection raised by one of the parties in the case. They have been clocking each of the jurors. And I think that if you talk to Brennan and you talk to Jackson, they know who they got to work on.
That's right.
Or who they think is on their side. Right. I think they're getting a sense of what's happening. And from the reporting that we're hearing from the reporters and commentators in the courtroom, whose job it is to watch the jurors and report the reactions that they're seeing, it does seem like they are really locked in to, so far, the defense's arguments, the cross-examinations they've been really engaged in, and the big moments they have been there. So it's kind of like, who are they trying to kick off?
Yeah.
That was my thought was, is it one person or, you know, 2 people or whatever? But then it seemed like if they're going to talk to each juror individual and that chief is there, I thought it's a courthouse thing.
Maybe like a security issue or something. A
security issue. Somebody saw something, you know, something happened in the hallway where somebody was, you know, they want to say, the judge, I think, often wants to know, have you been influenced by X? Yeah. Something that's extrajudicial.
Are you being paid by Jen McCabe to be a guilty vote? See, that was an example, just to be clear. I don't actually think that that's happening.
Right. If you're juror number 7 and you posted something on Facebook, you deal with juror number 7. But if it's everybody, she wants to check something. It does sound like, we don't know what all 3 questions were.
Well, the 3 questions are, have you talked to anybody about the case? Have you seen anything in the media about the case? And there's a third one that's similar. There's just three that are very similar.
Okay. So when she was saying that, she wasn't saying, I asked you 3 questions.
No, she asked them the same 3 questions every day.
Those are the standard
and
questions.
She asked them 2 of the 3 at their conversations with her at sidebar.
Okay.
She asked them about the talking about the case ones. She didn't ask them about the media one, which is one she asked them all together.
Yeah. It's not uncommon, even though jurors know they're not supposed to talk about the substance of the case. They're sitting next to each other. They're having lunch. It's very easy for someone to roll their eyes at somebody else. They're all living through the same experience. They're not supposed to. Sometimes it is what you would call a harmless error.
Like talking about somebody's affect. Like you could say, wow, that guy was a jerk or that guy's an asshole. That's talking about the case because that goes to the trustworthiness of the witnesses and lawyers.
Yeah. And sometimes it can be something like asking someone, do you remember this date or something, trying to get someone else's perspective.
What was the model of Karen's car again?
Yeah, what was the date? Are you sure? 24 hours ago? Now I'm confused. When did this thing actually happen? What did he say?
It did not happen on the 30th.
Yeah, right. So it can be the kind of thing that ends up being, it can get to be a bigger thing. So I think the judge is probably wise to nip it in the bud, and seeing that nobody got booted, except maybe some of the people got rearranged. It just seems that it's a little more about mischief and not about malice.
Right. All right, so that's what happened, and I just want to note at the end of the day, she also gave them a sterner warning than she usually gives them.
Which was what?
The same thing. Just don't look at anything, don't talk to anybody, don't do anything on social media. Like but she did it today like in a sterner, more strenuous way. Like Beverly exercised her pipes there for a minute.
Did she sound disappointed?
She sounded like a disappointed mom.
That's the worst.
Because usually she's so nice to Georgia. She's like, I hate to waste your time. When we go to sidebars, it's because we have to do important business, and I know you understand. Usually that's her, but this time she was. All right, so do you want to hear about the substance of today?
Yeah, what actually happened?
So today we had a prosecution witness. By the way, Karen Read said yesterday to the media that she thinks the prosecution is going to take 1 more week, which I think sounds right because they're going to have their dog bite person, Welcher, still has to come on from Aperture. And though I think both of those people are going to have lengthy cross-examinations. And I don't know who else. They're probably going to play every other clip.
They have the medical examiner?
They already had the medical examiner. They had the one from Massachusetts.
Right.
But today they had a brain surgeon on named Dr. Wolf, Isaac Wolf.
Right. Now, I remember the pre-trial arguments about his qualifications because he is a neurosurgeon, but he's not a pathologist.
Right.
So,
but he sees people die all the time.
He deals with brain injuries.
That's true.
So he sees those things.
Skull fractures.
And while he obviously may be acquainted to how those things happen and what happens between the time of, an injury and the hours later, that's not his actual specialty.
Correct.
That's not just because it's really the only person technically qualified to make a declaration about how somebody died would be a pathologist.
Right, but I will say, he does have a lot of experience knowing what happened to people and then seeing what they look like.
Yeah.
So, he's
that isn't to say that, he doesn't,
no.
He's not, you talk to him at dinner and he's not 100%
I would not want to have dinner with this guy, Kevin.
Probably not want to have dinner.
Let me tell you why.
All right, tell me why.
There are a certain kind of doctor set. I'm just going to say this.
No.
There's a certain kind of doctor.
I know where you're going
that
with this.
Women hate to see.
Okay.
It's the kind of doctor that is maybe minimalizing or dismissive of your concerns, the one who thinks they know better than you about your body, the one who always tells you to lose weight, even if you're not, you really don't need to or whatever, that guy. And it's usually a guy.
You know the difference between God and a brain surgeon?
What?
God doesn't think he's a brain surgeon.
So that guy was very much like this. Let me give you an example of the kind of thing he would do. Do you know how lawyers have to ask a series of questions to get to the thing? Like
kind of a foundational pattern of questions.
Part of the, otherwise they'll get an objection. They have to.
Yeah.
He would say things like, let me just make this easy for you and get to what I know you're getting to. And then he would give the answer to the question that hadn't been asked yet. He was...
Go for it. Okay.
Not great. Anyway, he rubbed me the wrong way, and that's not just because he's a prosecution witness, I promise. Because the next witness today I actually like very much.
Is there any feedback from how the jury reacted to him?
I just think they were paying attention.
Okay,
they pay attention to science testimony.
They were super well behaved after this.
But they do have, he does have good credentials as far as being a doctor goes. He's been a brain surgeon for like 30, 40 years. He's old. So it's like he graduated medical school in the 80s. And then he's been working in Minneapolis and whatever. And he went to Yale medical school. So he's got decent credentials. But his whole thing was that they showed John O'Keefe's head injury on the picture board. We didn't see it because they don't show any body pictures to the streaming audience. And he said, I see this injury all the time. I'm just distilling it. Yeah. It looks like, and it's my opinion, is that what probably happened here is he fell backwards and gravity took him to the ground, and then he hit his head on something hard and flat, like frozen ground. And then he got objection. Because he can't say...
He can't say that.
He can't say that.
Like a disappearing rock.
Right, exactly. Basically, his whole thing was, yes, this could happen from someone hitting their head on the ground, this kind of injury. Yep. And the black eyes could be this thing called raccoon eyes, which is basically fluid that I think comes from your brain coming through cracks in the ocular breaks. So it's basically like fluid comes through here and it causes those raccoon eyes. So that's what he said could have caused Marcello's injuries.
But I'm guessing that if this holds true, whatever he said completely contradicts some other experts' testimony
Probably.
about how stuff happened and what their medical condition.
Right.
All right.
The other thing I found interesting was he was asked questions about whether John O'Keefe would have died right away. And he said John O'Keefe would have been incapacitated right away, but he would not have died right away. That brain injury people, unless you shoot them behind the ear, he literally said that, or he said, stick a knife in the base of their skull. Every other brain injury, the person does not die immediately. But they become incapacitated, and they have that reaction where when they look like, they're moving. He talked about that like fish reaction. And then he said, which was really weird, he was like, I think that reaction comes from when we were cavemen. He literally said cavemen. And there was, we evolved so that if we had a brain injury, we wouldn't get eaten by an animal. So we'd still be moving around. I'm like, that is fucking weird. First of all, cavemen, it's not a real expression. It's just like a media thing. But anyway, so that was the crux of his testimony. And it was, it was, I'd say pretty interesting, good testimony for the prosecution.
Right. By the way, if, you come up and you say that the evidence is that John O'Keefe was not killed by that blow, and I think both the defense and the prosecution, their theories have to do with John hitting his head.
Right.
If you believe the defense theory, it means that he was dragged outside and left in the snow while he was still alive. And so
maybe
if you believe that evidence, then it means that what they did was not to hide a body, but to hide a gravely injured man, and instead of rendering aid, let him die.
Not necessarily.
Which I'm just saying, you don't have to believe that. That's what that lines up that story to be.
It could. But it could also take him 4 hours to die, and he may have been dead when they dragged him out on the lawn. It's just the point doesn't happen immediately.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then Alessi cross-examined him,
but it would mean there were hours that went by at least that they could have rendered aid, and they chose not to.
Right.
Instead, they went to the Canton Police Department to root around in other people's cars.
I think what they're getting to with that is that his core body temperature only went down to 80, which actually it's low. But a lot of people have said, a lot of medical professionals have said, it's not as low as it would be if he were out on a 0 or 5 degree night for 6 hours. It would not be 80. It would be like 50 something.
Without his coat.
Right.
Okay.
So cross-examination by Alessi, so quick. I was like shocked because Alessi loves a smart person and he loves to pick apart a smart person. He also loves to pick apart a stupid person, as we've seen in the last 2 days. So his cross-examination said, he put up the picture of John O'Keefe's face. And he said, do you see that laceration on John O'Keefe's right eyelid? Yes. Could a blunt force trauma to the back of the head cause that laceration on John O'Keefe's right eyelid? No. That was the end of his cross-examination. That was it. That was it.
Sometimes less is more.
Yes.
Sometimes you spent 2 days trying to make the point about one bad witness. Sometimes you were losing the jury.
Right.
Sometimes all you want is to do all this cross-examination for them to come away with one important thought.
Right.
And he just got to it.
That's right.
And that's it.
Somehow, John got an injury on his eyelid.
Don't have to get into what caused the brain, have to fight his qualifications. That's it. But you know about you can tell about a brain surgeon's qualifications?
How?
Don't worry, they'll tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this guy did. Yeah, exactly. He actually would jump ahead and talk about
things. Let me get to the better stuff.
Yeah. So
did he wear the white coat to the stand?
No, but he did say he gets up at 3:30 every morning, goes to his surgery, does all the things he needs to do, and then goes back home to make a cappuccino for his wife at 6:30, and then goes immediately back to work. I'm like, I'm sure she really appreciates you just popping in there, dude.
Well, I'll say there was a brain surgeon from Boston that saved the life of a close family member of mine, and I don't know if it was this guy, but...
it wasn't. This guy's not from Boston.
Fantastic.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because I'm certain they couldn't find anybody in Boston to do it, and I'm just going to let the audience know, Kevin, when you look at the country as a whole, what city is the medical specialty capital of the country?
Boston.
Period.
Yeah, you want to go to Boston if you have something.
Boston is known for having, it has a high concentration of very high quality hospitals in a very small area.
Yep. Don't go to New York. Go
It's
to
got
Boston.
Harvard.
Yep.
It's got Mass Gen. It's got all these, and it's got
Dana-Farber,
Brigham and Women's, but it also has the Harvard training school there.
It also has the voice center.
Yes.
That all the famous people went to, including myself.
That's right, at Mass Gen, right?
The Mass General vocal something, I forget what it was.
They fixed Adele.
They fixed Adele.
They also fixed Kevin.
Julie Andrews and Steven Tyler. And
so, to me, it's notable that
Anyway.
they just didn't have somebody from New England do it. To me, that's notable, only because they're like, this guy lives in like Maryland or whatever now.
Yeah.
So,
oh, okay. All right. They got him on Temu.
no, he seems fine. He's just kind of dickish. All right. So after the break, we got this woman, Hanley, back on the stand. She's a tech at the crime lab. She is the boss of the other tech at the crime lab that we heard from, the one who took one metal spatula to scrape a bunch of stuff off of 2 pieces of clothes that were in an envelope together and all that stuff. So her job was to do matching and comparisons with plastic and glass that was allegedly found at 34 Fairview. The direct examination was eternal and so boring. I'm not even going to go over. I'm just going to tell you it was a list of numbers and then charts. It was because the evidence is 3-3A, 3-3B, 3, and it's so boring.
Yeah.
Jackson's cross-examination was quick and included a very helpful chart. This is a chalk that I think that the prosecution tried to keep out, given the length of the sidebar we had before. Bev asked him to redact something of it, and then he put this graphic up, which was extremely helpful. And I will put this graphic as the podcast image, but I also uploaded in the show notes. So this is the glass that she analyzed, all right? I would encourage people to maybe click open the attachment to the show notes here. These pieces recovered on the bumper. This is the cup.
Yeah.
9 pieces recovered sometime at 34 Fairview by Buchanan, and then glass 2 pieces recovered by Proctor at 34 Fairview. Okay. So there was the cup. 6 pieces recovered by Buchanan were physical matches to the cup, meaning she could actually put them together like a puzzle.
Okay.
3 were not matches to anything. So Buchanan now has 6 pieces that matched a thing.
Okay.
Glass on the bumper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 pieces were found on the bumper that she analyzed. She analyzed 7 pieces. 6 of them matched nothing, and the 7th one matched something. Do you know what it matched?
The glass recovered by Trooper Proctor.
It matched these 2 items of glass recovered by Trooper Proctor at Fairview, not the cup.
All right, but the glass recovered by Proctor didn't
match nothing.
Match nothing.
Right.
So that glass matches the stuff that matches nothing.
Correct. So Proctor's glass matches nothing, and the glass on the bumper matches nothing, and the glass recovered by Proctor at 34 Fairview only matches other glass recovered by Proctor. It does not match the cup, so they're calling this the cup, the cocktail glass.
Okay, so if you follow this all the way back, this chalk says that the glass found on the bumper does not match the glass that they found.
Doesn't match anything.
Doesn't match that cocktail glass.
No, doesn't match anything. Doesn't match anything in evidence.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Okay, but it does match glass that Proctor had.
Yes, the glass on the bumper matches other glass that was turned in by Proctor.
Right.
So Proctor turned in glass from the bumper, and he turned in glass recovered over here. Proctor's things match nothing except each other. That's it. That's all you need to know.
All right.
And Buchanan had a few pieces that matched the actual cup on the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So
that's very interesting.
A lot of samples that they can't match to anything.
Right.
When they have a whole car.
Right. So they keep trying to make it happen that the glass was found in the, quote, roadway. And some of the techs have been saying road because it is 34 Fairview Road. And so I think they were told it was in the road, but this glass was actually recovered
On the lawn?
Correct.
Okay.
But he keeps trying to say it was in the road. It's a whole thing. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know if any glass was actually found in the road, but we've heard it's been 34 Fairview. So recross, he gets back and reiterates Proctor's glass does not match anything. So that was it. That's what happened at the end of the day. Hanley was done and is done. And I just want to say something about Hanley. I think if you have this job, you should, for your own sake and for your professional like credibility's sake, they should give them speaking training and media training. Hanley was like an ASMR video with like a million ums and seemed lovely. All the lab people just seemed like they got shit in. They did the job as they would do it. And then they put out their results of the stuff they did with the stuff they got in that was recovered poorly, not stored, and was in Michael Proctor's hands, right? Yeah. But they all seemed like very earnest. And this woman seemed very earnest, but like during a direct, some witnesses are compelling, like, for all much as I didn't like Wolf, he could follow him. She's very hard to follow, and I felt bad for her.
Do you know how to identify an extroverted scientist?
How?
They look down at your shoes.
Very funny, Kevin. So that's what happened today. And then we found out we're getting Thursday, Friday, of course, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, because it's Memorial Day, off. So there will not be court for 5 whole days, or as Bev likes to think of it, a normal time between days in court.
Jurors, I certainly hope that you enjoy your time off.
Yeah.
Go to the lake.
Yeah.
Go to the beach.
We have a supplemental episode that we're planning to make in that 5-day period. So stay tuned. It's something that Kevin has snagged onto and is very interested in. We talked about it in the podcast a million years ago, but it's something that Kevin keeps thinking about. And we're going to talk about it in an episode later this weekend. It has to do with ring footage, right?
Yeah.
All right.
That mysterious ring footage that was supposed to put Karen Reed away.
The non-ring
but
footage.
Never appeared.
Yes. All right.
Why?
So we'll talk about that in a supplemental episode, and maybe we'll do some reorienting of who's who, that kind of thing. So that's to come over the weekend. But for now, Kevin, have a great evening, and thank you for coming on the Readathon.
You're welcome.
Partners in Crime Media.